Good afternoon. I'm Ronnie Brannon. I'm the program lead for the Logistics and Supply Chain program here at Palo Alto College. And I want to invite you to a journey on discovering logistics and supply chain. So with that, I'm going to share my screen. So logistics. So have you ever heard of logistics? It's been around you your whole life. Actually, it's been around you your whole parents and grandparents' lives. When we talk about logistics, we talk about the movement of supplies and materials and goods and people from the point of origin to the point of consumption. Now, I know you're eating that cereal out there, whether it's Frosted Flakes or Trix or Apple Jacks, Raisin Bran, Cheerios. That cereal was raw materials in a manufacturing plant, processed, put into individual boxes. Those individual boxes were put into bigger boxes, and then those individual boxes were shipped all over the world to different stores like HEB, Walmart, Costco, your Dollar General. So when you go in to buy a box of cereal and you take it off the shelf, you scan it over the counter, you have to pay for that box, but at the same time, it sends a signal back to an automated inventory logistics supply system that says, hey, we've just sold a box. Do we need to put another box on the truck before that box runs, before all the boxes are gone? And that's what we call the reorder point. If it says no, it'll let another box be sold. And if it says no, another box be sold. And then when it hits the reorder point, another box is put on the truck at the warehouse to be brought to the store. That's how thousands and thousands of people in your individual neighborhood are eating a certain type of cereal, and it's always there. That's the logistics and supply chain. It happens to over 200,000 different products that are stocked in your Walmarts, your HEBs, and all your other stores of that type. So with logistics, the supply chain is all the umbrella of the organizations up and down the stream that actually make it all happen and getting things to the customer. So in our country, we have about 37% of all the jobs are logistics and supply chain related, about 44 million. So wow, that is a bunch. So there are plenty of jobs in this career, in our career field. So what do we do at the college? So we prepare individuals to be successful in this $1.4 trillion industry. So we teach about purchasing, buying things, transportation, all the 18-wheelers moving things up and down the interstate, the warehousing, the negotiations, the going back and forth on what we're going to pay for prices of things, and then the operations of how things are going to happen, and most importantly, the problem solving. We teach students how to solve problems through our case studies and through real world problems. So here's a industry supplier out of Toyota, and he's using some of the high technology that we have, and he scanned the boxes that he's going to put on the shelf and then he's scanning the shelf location, and that information is going to automatically go back into the computer. So if 5 seconds after he finished that and Toyota had an order and they placed the order, that those supplies, those items will be ready for them right away. Well, you said, with all of this logistics, where can you work? Well, you can work essentially anywhere. There's your Walmart, your Targets, your Costco's, all of those, but you have your UPSs and FedEx. But what about your schools? Your school district has a logistics department. The fire department has a logistics department. The police departments, hospitals and universities, hotels, every place that you can think of has a requirement to get materials ordered so that they can support the individuals that work there. Essentially, you can work anywhere in the country and anywhere in the world. So let's do a little deeper dive into the areas in logistics. We're not going to cover all of them, but just 3 of them we're going to look at. So warehousing is the area where we're going to have most of the positions. You say, well, why is that? Well, with so many people, we need these warehouses to store materials so it can be close to where the stores are, so they can get those materials to the stores. So that is one reason. So in warehousing, we have receiving. That's where all the things are coming in. And there are individuals that their specialty is in the receiving area. And they understand about all the procedures that go into the receiving area. Then you have your storage area. And this is where after it comes to receiving, it goes to storage. And then in storage, that's where it's kept there and until it's issued out. And it's made sure that it's safe and make sure that it stays dry, it doesn't get wet, all of those things that you're protecting the supplies and equipment that you have in the storage area. After storage, we're going to look at the inventory area. So inventory, it kind of works in the storage. So if you have a warehouse that has 20 million different items in there, and it's a requirement to inventory 100% of that every year, well, there's no way you can do that in 1 week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks. It has to be a continual inventory so you can count the things that are in there, make adjustments for things that are issued, so things can keep moving. We also have quality control. Quality control looks and makes sure that the things that we have inside the warehouse, when we're getting ready to ship them out, they are correct to the customer. We want to make sure our accuracy stays high. Then we have our shipping. So after it's going through quality control, it goes to shipping. And shipping is where it's loaded up in the truck, and then it goes from the truck all across the community to the different stores that it's delivered to. So now let's take a look at transportation. It's a lot of different modes of transportation, whether it's motor on the roads or whether it's the trains or whether it's the ships bringing things from other countries, or one you haven't thought about, even the pipelines that are carrying fuel back and forth. So in transportation, drivers is the biggest need. There is a projection that by 2026, we're going to be short over 175,000 drivers. So we could really use you as a driver. So look at what's going on with the drivers today. All companies have to have drivers to deliver the products that they have. They also have to have dispatchers. Dispatchers are as key as drivers because dispatchers are going to determine where those loads are that needs to get picked up, where they should go, what they should pick up after they unload coming back. And so it's a very essential part of every company is the dispatchers. So that was motors. So railroads have their need as well. They have a big need in the country. They carry grain, they carry cars, they carry all different types of materials, and they're essential to our country. And they have dispatchers that are helping them determine where their lines are going as well. So here you see that the cars, we talked about cars, and it's an area where many cars can get on a train and be shipped with very little damage. And we wouldn't want to ship high screen definition televisions on rail cars because all the jostling up and down would mess with their electronics. Then we have the water transportation, the ships, and thousands and thousands of containers. The biggest container can hold about 50,000 individual containers. And when they're coming from China all the way to the US, or they're coming from Europe to the US, these ships then dock on ports, whether it's South Carolina, whether it's Houston, whether it's Los Angeles. And in these ports, these containers are unloaded, stacked until they're then loaded on additional trucks, other trucks, or whether they're loaded on the railroad so that they can take them across the country. So a lot of logistics positions in those areas. Transportation by pipeline, the major logistics portion is actually getting the pipelines laid down, ensuring that their maintenance is handled properly, and if there are any problems, that those things are taken care of. And then we have air. Every airport is essential area for logistics. When you've been on air, if you've been on an airline before, when you look at their loading your cargo, they're also loading other cargo down there that's being shipped to other individuals. And this one is UPS. UPS doesn't carry any people. They just carry just cargo all around the world. This is what we talked about, the commercial aircraft, and they're loading up those pallets in, and then they'll be shipped to another airport and then unloaded on a truck to get to their final destination. So let's talk about purchasing. One of my favorite areas is purchasing. I was a purchasing manager. I loved every minute of it. So all you're doing is you're buying things for the organization. You're making sure that the requirements that are coming in are being taken care of, and those orders are being placed with vendors, and those products are being received. So in purchasing, you have the buyer. The buyer is the one that actually executes those orders and makes sure those things come in. Much attention to detail is needed in that area as a buyer. Then we have the purchasing clerk. The purchasing clerk is one that, hey, it's very essential because the clerk assists the buyer. There are a lot of different moving parts, and the clerk is going to make sure that those things that are needed by the buyer are taken care of. Sometimes it's interfacing with the customers as well. So I know you want to know, and I'm going to tell you what it's like to work in logistics. Well, one, it's exciting. You're never bored. There are no 2 days that are alike, and you always know you're making a difference. And you feel that team thing when you're in logistics, that the camaraderie, and you have a great opportunity to move up for career advancement. And jobs are available at all the different levels, whether you don't have a degree at all, or whether you have a one class, a certificate, or a degree. And we talked about earlier where you can work anywhere in the world, and you get a chance to work with some great technology. And that's really a fun thing to do as well. Also, you meet friends for life, and those friends go with you and you stay connected with for a long time. So that's really a neat thing there. And there's always jobs. Even during the midst of the pandemic, logistics was still working. Even when stores shut down, the logistics portion was still working, because we had to receive the items that were shipped that were coming in to be able to get those items back to the customers. And the other reason is baby boomers. Individuals born between 1946 and 1966 are now in the process of getting ready to retire. And as they retire, we're going to need new individuals to come into the industry to pick up where they what they were doing. Now, there's one thing on the slide that I left off, and I'm put it at a slide for itself because it's just this important. And that's women in logistics. We have some fantastic women that are doing great things in logistics, and we actually need more. And women are really great in logistics because of many things, but one thing in particular, and that's the attention to detail. If I put 100 women in a room, I'm gonna have 90 to 95 that are detail oriented. If I put 100 men in a room, maybe I'll get 10, I won't get 15. Men are more big picture and not focusing on the detail as much. So we need more women to come in to be like many women that are leading logistics and supply chain organizations in the country. So what we're doing at CASTEM High School, we have a logistics and supply chain program where individuals start taking logistics in the 10th grade, and when they get to be a senior, they graduate with their associates at the same time that they're getting their logistics degree. I think that's a really fun thing. So our courses, all our courses have case studies. Students can get part-time jobs while they're working in the industry. We have industry-leading software, part-time jobs making up to $15 an hour. So we were ranked number 12 by online logistics and supply chain programs in the country. So a lot of neat things going on in the program at the college. And we competed in a national logistics case study competition in 2018. We beat Syracuse University. We were the only community college participating in this competition. We beat Syracuse University, and we finished 4th out of 19 teams. So that was a great accomplishment. So in our program, we have the associate degree, and we have 3 individual certificates. We also have where you can transfer after you finish your associates to Wayland Baptist with a 2+2 agreement. All your hours will transfer over. You can also go to University of North Texas as well as Baylor. Also, when you graduate with your associates, you start out around $45,000. It could be more or less based on experience. Bachelor's about $60,000, $80,000 with your master's, and there are individuals in San Antonio making over $500,000 a year. So I thought I would look at a logistics position that kind of tell you what they're looking for. So this one said logistics administrator. They said it must have a high school diploma, but they would like to have either associate or a bachelor's degree. And 2 years of administrative support. You have to have Microsoft Office experience with that, and you're doing it in your courses. Strong math skills. Ding, ding, ding. Math skills are important, okay? So work on your math. Math skills are important. Communication skills. You have to be able to speak clearly, be able to be understood, understand what's being spoken to you, and be able to write. English. So let's concentrate on working on those skills in those areas. And then they say here, attention to detail. Didn't we just talk about that a little earlier? Yes, attention to detail. Strong attention to detail, they said. So women, they're talking to you out there too. Strong attention to detail. This is the salary for that particular position here in San Antonio. And so with that, that pretty much covers what I want to get to you in the discovery. And I thank you for taking the time to actually listen to this presentation. And then now I'm going to transition it over and pass to my colleague, Andres Arredondo, who is going to take care of the second part of the presentation.
Thank you, Ron. I appreciate the invitation to come and tag team with you to speak to our prospective students. As Mr. Brandon mentioned, my name is Andres Arredondo, and I actually serve as the manager of our recruitment office here at Palo Alto College. And so what our team does is we actually serve specific high schools in the area, in the South Side area and outside of San Antonio, to help students actually apply and actually get into Palo Alto College. And that's really what we do. We actually, I think this is a great opportunity to, one, learn about the logistics program that exists here at PAC. It's a very unique program that we have, and a lot of the different resources that Ronnie, who's our lead instructor here at PAC, he's a great resource and a great representative for PAC. There's a lot of different resources that give you a lot of hands-on experience. And so that's one of the key differences when you think about what you want to do after high school is I know that, the state of Texas lets us know every year that at some high schools, half of the students that graduate from high school don't necessarily go to college. Some may go military, some may go to college, and others want to work. And there's another percentage that doesn't actually report. And so one of the things that we find at Palo Alto is that students tell us that they want to work, they're tired of school, and they start working after high school, and that's great. But you know, being in a community, we know that we see students from your high schools actually come to us later after working or 2 years, and they're a little tired of kind of working that same job that doesn't really pay. This is an opportunity for you all through the logistics program, specifically in our discussions for today, to actually learn a hard skill. And that's really what this program is about, is learning a hard skill. Because as you saw, you know, starting salary for that one position that Mr. Brandon showed, it starts off at $40,000. You know, and you know, in case you don't really know about what that's like day to day, when you think about making about, you know, $900 a week, you know, if you think about what $48,000 to $50,000 looks like. So if you're working right now and your paycheck doesn't look anywhere near $100 a week, this is where you got to be. And you know, as far as, you know, the team that we do, that's another service that we do here at PAC at Palo Alto, is we want to actually hold your hand and walk you through this process. And that's what my folks do. That's what we do, is we want to make sure that there is no stone unturned, that we're here to make sure that we answer your questions. If your parents or your guardians have any questions, you have any doubts, the first thing that comes is, oh, I'm tired of school, or I don't have any money, or I'd rather not go, I want a break. Okay, we're actually the people that you got to talk to, because community colleges are different, because we're actually here to give you a hard skill, to give you the know-how so you can get to work as soon as possible. If your goal is to transfer to a four-year college, you can save a ton of money, because we're actually a fraction of the cost. So even if you do want to go into biology or become a doctor or whatever it is you want to do, your journey can start here at PAC. So that being said, I wanted to give you a little bit of insight, you know, because of things that are going on now with the COVID situation, and maybe, you know, your families are struggling a little bit with their finances because of the COVID outbreak. Palo Alto is here to help you, not just on day one, but even before day one of your time here. Just to give you an example, all of our freshmen that come in as first-time students, which would be you, you can actually borrow a laptop and even an internet hotspot from us. And so if you're worried about, oh, I don't have the right internet, or my internet's too slow, or I don't have the right computer, you don't need to buy any of that stuff. So Alamo Colleges, Palo Alto College, we actually have those resources for all of our students. So you can actually get that access, you know, before you start your first day of class. So that one thing is right out of the picture. We want to encourage you to not even worry about that as something that's going to be a stressor. Our campus is Wi-Fi enabled, meaning if you do have a laptop but you don't have internet, there's actually, all of our buildings are Wi-Fi enabled. Parking lots, so like right now, we only have about 10% of our classes that are actually on campus because of the COVID situation. 90% of our classes are actually remote, but we actually have students that come on campus and actually kind of spread out and utilize the Wi-Fi enabled areas outside of our buildings. So we want you to know that we have the resources available at no extra cost to you. So like right away, we can make a huge impact in your life that way. Additionally, as you start taking your classes and maybe you're not used to the rhythm, and as Mr. Brandon said, that math is a huge thing for logistics, and actually a lot of different things, but logistics, we have a tutoring center. And actually, if you're taking courses, right, you can actually access all of our tutoring online for free. You know, and so those are things that you can actually access through our tutoring center. We have a writing lab. So if you have courses that have a lot of writing, we can actually have somebody help you write your papers, edit your papers, and give you recommendations. Math, we have somebody that can sit with you and help you do your homework. So we're not here to give you the answers, but we're actually here to actually give you the know-how and how to complete your assignment. And all that stuff is free, and it comes with being a Palo Alto College student. And we're excited to be able to offer you these things so that we can unburden you from those kinds of worries and stressors. If you want to work, you know, there are opportunities even through the logistics program to possibly get a part-time job through one of the warehousing facilities, whether it's Walmart or Amazon. You know, Mr. Brandon has connections with our local community, and that's another resource. We can put you in touch at least with the availability of different positions. So it'd be great to build some experience, right, in logistics while working at a warehouse, and working on your logistics certificate, right? And so you can actually come with both at the same time when you apply to that $48,000 a year position. And that's the kind of the power punch that Mr. Brannon and the Welcome Center, we're here to tell you about. So I'm going to share my screen right now and show you a couple of things. So if you can just permit me for 1 second. Okay. So how to get started, okay? I'm going to keep it really simple because it's a process. And like I said, we actually have people here that are going to hold your hand and walk you through each of these steps. But if you actually go to alamo.edu/PAC, which is our website, alamo.edu/PAC, you'll see this page here. And there's these 3 little buttons here. You can do a couple of things here. You can actually click the apply button at the top of the page. And what you do is, just to get some information, you can scroll down into this section that says Welcome to Palo Alto College. Click on How to Enroll button. And again, just go to alamo.edu/PAC. You don't have to type all this other stuff. And then you click the Apply button, and then you'll see this screen here, Steps to Enroll. You click the plus button on the right-hand side. It's actually going to tell you each step of the process. You can actually click this link here, applytext.org. It'll take you straight to the application. The next steps are all lined up here in terms of what you need to do to do financial aid, completing your FAFSA, and all those other things. What kind of transcripts you need. We have a portal, much like you have a portal in high school. You log in, you check your grades. So we also have something like that called ACES. So you'll have to set up an ACES account, and we'll send you an email. We can walk through all these steps. But all these other things are listed here step by step. And again, that's really just to get you started. If you have a question on, well, how do I get started? I really like how logistics sounds. I'm really interested. The only way to get to Mr. Brannon and those great resources and machines and up-to-date computer systems that logistics students work with is actually through our office in the Welcome Center, and that's by applying. Another thing you can do is here, back at these 3 buttons, you can click Remote Learning. And on Remote Learning, you can actually scroll down to close to the bottom of the page, this area here called Remote Walk-in Sessions. So each of you will have access to an enrollment coach, and that's the team here at the Welcome Center that's going to hold your hand right through this process, right? And so they're going to help you fill out your applications. They can sit with you virtually through a Zoom session, and in a separate room for Zoom, we can sit down and actually show you each question. We'll go through each question by question, letting you know how to fill out and what it is you need to complete your application. The next item that was on that list was financial aid. We can do the same thing for financial aid. If your mom and dad or your guardians or whoever takes care of you, that's gonna, help you through this also, you can sit down with them and your enrollment coach, along with your family, we can walk through this process with you. So the way you can do that is actually by clicking this button here. So this is what we call our virtual welcome center. We actually have enrollment coaches live, ready, literally right in front of the computers, ready to assist you during these times. So every Monday from 9 a.m. to 12 and 2 to 7. So even after you're done with your class, you can zoom in by clicking this button here. Tuesday through Friday, this is our hours of operation. And the first Saturday of every month from 9 to 1, we're open as well. So all you have to do is click on this button here. As you can tell, it's going to take you right into the Zoom session. And then an enrollment coach is going to let you in, and you're going to speak to them one-on-one, face-to-face. And so we're very excited at the possibilities to really engage with you virtually, because there's really no reason anymore, for these computer kind of glitches to happen to prevent you from being successful. And that's what we're here to tell you. We're going to make it work. So if you don't have internet and you want to apply to PAC, if you don't have a smartphone and you want to apply, you can actually call our office and we can actually set up an appointment with you. Okay, but you need to let the person know on the other line, I don't have technology, I need help, and we'll actually set up an appointment for you and just you to come in to our office on campus. It's very limited because we're trying to keep everybody safe. But I want you to know that not having technology should not stop you from starting and completing your process here at Palo Alto College. And so, kind of to wrap up, I also want to let you know that Palo Alto College and Alamo colleges, by extension, we take care of the whole student, because it's not just enough to submit your application and want to join the logistics program, for example. There may be some of you that may not know where your next meal is coming from, or whether or not your parents or guardians are going to have enough money to pay rent or pay the light bill for the next month. And those things are stressors, and we know we're in here in this boat with every one of you, because you all are our students. So we know the challenges that our students have, because a lot of our students are just like you. They come from the high schools that you come from, and the challenges that they have, I know that some of you may have. So one thing is not to be shy about asking for help or embarrassed, because we're here and you're not alone, because it's a very normal thing that's happening. And it's not just because of COVID. This happens, all the time. And so we want you to know that we actually have pre-prepared lunches for students to what we call our grab and go. We have a share center, we call it our advocacy center. We have a place on campus that prepares meals for students that need assistance. We have what we call our emergency aid, meaning if you need help, like if you have a car and it broke down, or if you're one of those students who has a girlfriend and depends on their girlfriend to drop them off to school, and then maybe y'all aren't together anymore, you don't know how to get here. Well, guess what? Your student ID actually acts as a bus pass. And so you can actually ride the VIA bus at no additional charge, because it actually comes with your tuition. And so again, financial aid is a big part of this too. We're going to help you. We want to make sure that you know that we not only are here to feed the mind, but even feed your belly when you need it, and to address some needs that you have, because the whole idea here is we don't want those things to stop you from being successful. We don't want those things to stop you from finishing your logistics certification, your logistics degree, so you can get that $48,000 a year job. It's so important that you get to those goals, and we are all on the same team. It's Mr. Brandon, it's myself, it's the enrollment coaches, it's our grab and go people, and it's you and your family. All together, we're one unit for one purpose, is to help you get to where you want, which we all know what it is to get a better life for you and your family, which is what we hear all the time. So just a couple other things, we even have personal counseling here on campus. So meaning, like, if you ever feel frustrated and you can't talk to anybody, we actually have 2 licensed personal counselors at PAC. They can meet with you even virtually, like we're doing today. So if you don't have anyone to talk to, guess what? Palo Alto College has thought of that. And we have appointments for students. We know that students have stresses and worries, and you have somebody on your side to talk to help you get through it, to give you ideas and connect you with resources. It's not just about expressing yourself, it's about helping you find solutions. But again, just on behalf of myself and the team at the Welcome Center, we're excited to help you start your applications. Again, alamo.edu/PAC. Go to those remote buttons that we talked about at the top right-hand corner to get your journey started with us. And I'm going to turn it over back to Mr. Brandon. Thank you.
Oh, Andrews, man, thank you so much. Such a great bevy of information about the service that you all provide through the Welcome Center. And our students have benefited greatly in their transition from entering the college to graduation. And we even have a mentorship program that I'm the primary mentor for our logistics students, but we have others that are mentoring logistics students as well. But you can get a mentor that you can go in and talk to about anything that relates to your academics. And so that's another great piece as well that we have for support. So I really appreciate the time today in this discovery of logistics, and also discovery of how easy it is to get in and start your journey in logistics, a journey to bigger things in life at Palo Alto College. And so with that, I just want to say, study, take education serious. Be the sponge in the classroom. Soak up everything, because you never know when you're going to need that information. And there's a saying, I'll leave this with you. There's a saying that if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. So find something that you have a passion for, and it'll be like logistics has been to me over my 30 years working in it. It's been a passion. I've loved every day of it. So find something that you have a passion for, and you'll never work a day in your life. Have a great day, and we'll look forward to seeing you at PAC.
Thank you.
All right.